All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to take a trip into the absolutely lightning-fast world of your nervous system. We're going to follow a single nerve signal from that ouch moment you step on something sharp to the split-second action that saves you, and we'll see how your body pulls off this incredible feat in just milliseconds. So have you ever really thought about this? You step on a Lego, and your foot is already recoiling, yanking back before your brain has even had a chance to process the pain. It feels instantaneous, right? Almost like some kind of magic. But nope, it's not magic, it's all neuroscience. And the whole thing starts with a single cell, just sitting there waiting for the signal. Okay, let's get into it. Before a neuron can even think about firing off a signal, it has to be in a state of readiness. You can think of it like a silent alarm system that's been armed and is just waiting. This whole state of readiness is all about electrical potential. Now, to understand this journey, we first need a map of the highway. And this, right here, is our highway, a neuron. Signals come in through these branchy things called dendrites. They get processed in the cell body, or soma, and if that signal is strong enough, bam, a new message gets fired down this long cable called the axon, all the way to the end, the axon terminal, where it passes the message on to the next guy in line. So that armed and ready state we were talking about, it's officially called the resting membrane potential. It means the inside of the neuron is actually negatively charged compared to the outside, sitting at about -70 millivolts. This negative charge is basically stored energy, like a tiny battery just waiting to be discharged. But how on earth does it build up that charge in the first place? Well, here's how it does it. Take a look at this table. It's all about creating a massive imbalance. The cell works really hard to pump these charged particles, called ions, around. The big thing to notice is there's a ton of positively charged potassium inside the cell, and a whole lot of positively charged sodium outside the cell. And that crucial imbalance is maintained by this little workhorse called the sodium-potassium pump. So you might be thinking, wait a minute, if both sodium and potassium are positive, how does the inside of the cell end up negative? Great question. The secret ingredient is permeability. The cell's wall has these tiny little leak channels that are mostly just open for potassium. So some of those positive potassium ions leak out of the cell, just naturally spreading out. And when they leave behind these big, negatively charged proteins that are too big to get out. That makes the overall charge inside negative. And that crazy-looking equation on the screen, it's basically just the fancy math that proves this potassium leak is the main reason for that negative resting state. And now, the moment of truth. Your foot touches that sharp object. That silent alarm is about to go off. It's going to transform from potential energy into a moving kinetic wave of electricity, and we call that the action potential. So the pressure from that sharp object forces open some ion channels in that sensory neuron. Positively charged ions, mostly sodium, start to leak into the cell. If enough of them get inside to raise that internal charge from -70 millivolts up to a critical tipping point, about -55 millivolts, it triggers an all-or-nothing response. It is like pushing a button that launches a rocket. There is absolutely no going back. And this slide breaks down that entire chain reaction perfectly. First, depolarization. Sodium channels burst open, and positive sodium ions just flood into the cell, making the charge spike way up. Then comes repolarization. The sodium channels slam shut, and now potassium channels open up, letting positive potassium ions rush out to bring the charge back down. There's a brief little overshoot called hyperpolarization, just because the potassium channels are a bit slow on the uptake. And finally, everything returns to rest as that sodium-potassium pump tidies everything up. This whole sequence, happening over and over, is the electrical wave that travels down the axon. But here's the thing. Just having this wave travel along isn't nearly fast enough for what we need. That's where myelin comes in to save the day. It's this fatty coating that insulates the axon, and it forces the electrical signal to literally jump between the gaps. This process, called saltatory conduction, is incredibly fast. We're talking up to 100 meters per second. It is the difference between a casual stroll and a bullet train. Okay, so that super fast bullet train signal is now racing up your leg. But for a truly quick reaction, it can't afford to travel all the way to the brain to ask for permission. It needs a shortcut. That shortcut is called the reflex arc, and the main hub for this whole operation is your spinal cord. So let's trace this path. The journey kicks off at the receptor in your skin that detects the ouch. From there, a sensory neuron zips that signal straight to the spinal cord. Inside the cord, an interneuron acts like mission control, making an instant decision.
It immediately activates a motor neuron which carries the move command right back down to the effector, which is the muscle in your leg, and tells it to contract. And remember, the craziest part is, your brain still has no idea any of this has even happened yet.
So, the command has been issued from the spinal cord. Now let's look at the absolutely elegant coordination that happens at the muscular level to pull this move off without a hitch. See, it's not enough to just tell one muscle to contract. To lift your leg, your hamstring, the flexor muscle, needs to pull. But at the exact same time, the opposing muscle, your quadriceps, needs to chill out and relax. That one little inner neuron in the spinal cord does both jobs at once. It sends an excite signal to the hamstring and an inhibit signal to the quadriceps. This beautiful coordination is called reciprocal inhibition. But what stops you from just falling over when you yank one foot off the ground? Well, this is the genius of what's called the crossed extensor reflex. While your injured leg is flexing and pulling away, a signal crosses the spinal cord and tells the extensor muscles in your other leg to contract, planting it firmly on the ground to support your body weight. It's an automatic, built-in kickstand. Now, while that incredible reflex arc was taking care of the immediate danger, the pain signal has continued its journey all the way up to the brain. And when it finally arrives, it doesn't just register pain. It triggers a body-wide, full-blown red alert. This alert system is managed by your autonomic nervous system, which is always balancing two different modes. You've got the parasympathetic side, which is your calm, rest and digest state, but in a moment of stress like this one, the switch gets flipped. The sympathetic division, your fight or flight response, takes over, flooding your system with chemicals like noradrenaline to get your entire body ready for action. So what does this fight or flight response actually feel like? I mean, you know the feeling. As this slide shows, it's a total body transformation. Your heart starts pounding faster and harder to get more oxygen everywhere. Your airways open up to get more of that oxygen in. Your pupils dilate to take in more light to see any threats. Blood is even redirected away from your skin and sent straight to your major muscles, priming you to either fight the danger or run away from it. So, from a silent, waiting neuron all the way to a full-body alert, we've seen the entire amazing sequence. It's a masterpiece of biology, really. But this journey leaves us with a fascinating, kind of mind-bending final thought. If your body can detect danger and react to it with these elegant, pre-programmed reflexes all before you are even aware of it, what does that really say about the nature of consciousness itself? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.